Hey y'all. I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to come in. In the meantime, I'm going to mix up our colors, and I'm using a blue and a teal for my Larimar color. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll get these mixed. And remember, as always, scrape your sides. We're just going to get these mixed up while we let everybody get in here. Woo. Ooh, I can't put it up there because I already poured it. This is our Larimar, and I'll tell y'all, I made those last night, and I miscalculated and didn't leave room for a very important step. All right, so that color's mixed. Let me mix up the other. And again, I used 5 drops of the blue and 3 drops of the teal to give us the color that we're looking for. And this is an ounce of resin in this little bathroom cup. Y'all know I love these. All right. Let that be. In our white for the Larimar, we're using the Let's Resin Alcohol Ink, the Sinker White. And I just coated the top. I didn't really measure how much. I'm going to mix this up. And we're going to pour this 2 different ways for you guys. And I made sure I set aside my clear push for this. And as you can see, I have a clear layer already down in my molds. It's like I need to put a shim. What am I going to use? Use this. Move that out of the way. For now, I'm going to put that there. Let me do this. Because I want all this evenly coated. There we go. Okay. Now, I have this white mixed. Let me mix this. Again, you can see alcohol ink floats to the top. Y'all remember that little graph that I made? Whew. Let me remind everybody that we are live. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. All right. One more. Okay. All right, now I'm going to close this. Ta-da! All right, now I'm going to finish mixing my white, and then we'll talk about everything. And I'll show you what I did last night, because I made samples to show you guys what I was going for. And like I tell y'all, we're not all perfect. So here's our white with the alcohol, the Sinker White from Let's Resin. And you see it's like a milky 2% milk kind of white. You can still see the wood through this. And every time before I use it, I want to stir it. See that? You can still see the wood. So it's like a 2% milk. Now, this is what I did last night. Larimar, if you know, is like a stone. And it kind of looks like a beach theme with white in it. And if you're in my Facebook group or my special members only chat in Facebook, you saw the pictures of the stone that I added there. And the cover photo for this shows what Larimar stone looks like. And you can see the back. Now, when I made these, this one I poured the white first and then I poured my teal, but I did not leave enough room to pour my clear push. That's why this didn't turn out the way I wanted to, but we still got some really good effects. This one, I poured the teal first and then the white, and again, did not pour the clear push. So there we have that. And I made this with what I had left over, and I just did diagonal lines of the white, and you can see here the white and then the teal, and just alternated between what I had left to create this. So there's that. Now, again today we're going to, here we go again. You see, this is wanting to not evenly, because I'm gonna pour this one first because it wants to be a pain, it looks like. So we'll pour this one first and get it going. Okay. So for this one, we'll pour our white first, and I have the clear down so this moves easier in it. So we'll pour our white like so. Then we're going to pour some teal. And I'm leaving enough room for a clear push. And I'm going to leave the rest of this for my second one. So again, for this one, we'll do the teal first. Then we'll do our sinker white. And then we're going to do our clear push. And y'all remember in our puddle pours, when we do the push, we dump it fast, right? Because you want that to push out. Now I'm going to spray these to get rid of our bubbles, but look at that already reacting. Can you see that? That's what we want. That clear push is going to push the colors out and bring it back in to the center. Now, I did not use my mica. I used these clear transparent inks for my teal color. And I could, well, no, I don't really have a lot of room in that coaster. I'm just going to leave that like it is. We did the white first, the teal, then a clear push. Hey guys, glad you're here. So what I told y'all, this is super easy for beginners, okay? And this is why. Because this technique is the same as a puddle pour or a dragon scale. You've heard me talk about that too. But with those, I use the mica, and that's a great question. Because I don't want the striation lines that mica will give us. So when you ask why no mica in the Larimar, it's because I don't want it coming in looking like an eyeball. And that's what mica will do, give me those striations toward the center. I want to use a transparent ink, or you can use a dye. You could even use paste if you wanted to. But I found that these transparent inks, or even just a dye color, work much better for this technique to create that Larimar effect. Now, if I was just doing a regular puddle pour and I want those striations to come to the center, or the dragon scale, so it get that crackled effect that comes to the center, then I would use mica powder for that reason. Because remember, mica always moves to the middle. Remember? So to ensure that we get this Larimar, and I really don't have a stone to show you, but you can see the effects here. That if I had put a clear push to really push that color out with the white, it would have done much better. So we're going to see how these turn out. I'm excited for that. But I'm just going to take, and I'm going to push these up. I'm going to let resin. And then I'm going to show you what I did with my leftovers, because I have plenty of leftovers here. So I'm just going to combine these whites. And I'll show you. All right. I'm going to put that to the side. A little more push pour in there. All right. That there. This. And we'll combine our teals. And all I'm going to do is just dump these into this and let resin. Y'all know I say that a lot. I love the natural effects that resin has. Wipe that off so we're not dripping. So move these up further so I can get this in view. Yes, I believe that too. I love the way this naturally closes on itself, right? All right, so you can see that. So before I do that, can y'all look? First of all, make sure you give it a thumbs up because it helps other people find our videos. Super easy to do. So make sure you do that. And YouTube is telling me there's a hype button or a hype word or something you can click that also brings more attention to the videos. So if you see the word hype or a button for hype, can you click that? That will help a lot. Appreciate you guys doing that. Special thanks to all my members. I have some special member stuff coming up. We're going to do a drawing this weekend. I'm going to do a drawing for the first one for July, but twice a month for our members only. I'm going to draw a name, and they're going to get to decide what project we do next, what technique, what color palette. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see what y'all choose, who our winners will be. All right, so for this one with our leftovers, I'm just going to pour white along there like that. I'm going to take my teal and do the same thing. And this one, as you can see, there is no clear, and we'll do it this way. So it's a different pattern. And we'll do more white, like so. So I don't have that clear base in this one. And then we're going to do our, and I love doing this with my leftovers, y'all. That way we're not wasting our resin, right? Just dump it in there however it falls, whatever it wants to do. I'm fine with it. So there we go with that. So done with our teal. And we're just going to finish off our white. Just create whatever we want to. Just let it all fall how it wants. There we go. That's done. So Finished with all of our cups. I'm going to take my handy dandy wipe and wipe off my stick so it's ready for our next project. Same thing with our wooden sticks. Y'all, it makes it so much easier. And you see the color on these sticks? It's sealed the wood. So now it's safe for me to use without putting bubbles into my resin when I mix it. So that's why I like to reuse my wooden sticks, because once I see color and all that on there, I know it's sealed and it's not gonna do anything crazy. So I'm gonna throw my stuff away. Oh, I have a little bit of clear. I'm just gonna put in here, let it do whatever it wants. And y'all see how those have already closed up here. See that? All done. Wasn't that easy, y'all? Get another wipe. Do y'all agree that this is beginner friendly? I'm gonna wipe my stick off again. Done deal. Super easy to do, y'all. Ooh, got a lot of huskies. Still blowing coats, y'all. It's crazy. If you've ever had a husky or been around one, you know what I mean. All right. So I'm just gonna let that do its own little thing, end up how it wants to. Again, spray this, and you see the effect that spraying with alcohol also gives. That's another plus. So this isopropyl alcohol, I use 99%. If you use 91% or higher, you're good, because 91% and above, the alcohol evaporates off. It doesn't sit there and puddle. And if you let it puddle, it's going to interfere with your curing. We don't want that. So make sure you're using isopropyl alcohol 91% plus, and the alcohol, you can see, adds extra character to your piece. I really love how this is feathering out. Super cool. And if I wanted to, I could put something in the center there. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let it do its own thing. But if you wanted to put some gold rock or any colored rock, green rock, whatever you have, now would be the time to add it before this hole closes. But really, y'all, that's all there is to it. Is that super easy and give you a little more confidence in pouring something like that? I forgot a cup. Throw it away. Make sure it's in my trash can, not on my hardwood. There we go. Y'all have any questions? Oh, before I close everything, I did want to do another giveaway. I love doing these. So, when I do this giveaway, or if you want to become a member to be involved in that drawing I'm doing later this weekend, all you have to do is click that join button, and it will, I think it's set for $5 a month, and that helps support the channel. Here comes 5. Excuse me. Let's see, who do we have? Perfect. Welcome to our new members. You will be included in the drawing this week. And like I said, if you want to become a member, oh, excuse me, all you have to do is click that join button. But again, I want to go over these steps for you guys, and I want to make sure you understand why we do it this way. and what the difference is. So for the Larimar particular, you use transparent or dyes for your colors. And like I said, I used 5 drops of the blue, 3 drops of teal to create this color, which is perfect for the actual, if you want to be realistic to a Larimar stone, this is the color you're looking for. I will link all these products in the description after I end the live. I'll go back and make sure everything is linked. So you just have to click it if you want to go buy it for yourself. You can, it'll take you straight there. So we use the transparent inks, the alcohol ink, the white sinker from Let's Resin, and I used teak spurt resin today instead of my usual Let's Resin, because for this to get a better effect, and the same thing with your puddle pours or your dragon scale, you really want a thicker resin. Now, I poured my resin before I went live, and I let it sit for a little bit to give it that thicker consistency. But remember, you can't, let me show you what I mean. You want to let your resin sit, but you don't want it sitting in a big cup. Remember I told y'all big volume of resin, if you let it sit, all the particles, I mean the molecules from A and B are going to start dirty dancing and you're going to have a fiasco. So if you're pouring a large amount, which I poured 8 ounces for this today, don't let that 8 ounces sit by itself for 30 minutes. Or you're going to come back, it's going to be a hot mess, it's going to be flash curing. You don't want that. So you can mix it in a large cup and then pour it into smaller cups, like I had my 3-ounce bathroom cups, or you could use a little 8-ounce cup, pour it that way. But don't let it sit for 30 minutes in a big cup. No, you don't want to let, and I want to explain it super quick. And this is the analogy that I use to help people remember, because they never really forget when I explain it this way. When you let resin sit like this in a large amount, and this is, I think, a 16-ounce cup, you run the risk of a flash cure, because people think logically that if I have a big area, it will take longer for it to cure. In reality, the bigger area you have, the faster it's going to cure, because we take molecules from part A, molecules from part B, they start dirty dancing to create a friction that creates the heat that cures and hardens the resin into a hard plastic. So I always say, think about prom. You have a large group of teenagers crammed in the gym. They start dancing. It creates heat really fast in there, right? So the best thing to do is take 20 out of the gym, put 20 in the cafeteria, 20 in the library, 20 in a classroom, and it's easier to chaperone to keep that heat down. So 20 in the gym, crammed in the gym, that large amount of resin, then you want to take 20 into a smaller cup, 20 into a little bathroom cup. That's going to slow down that heating process so you don't run into a flash cure. Did that help explain things better? Just think Dirty Dancing and prom. And you won't forget that. And now here's another analogy for colorants. When we add too much color, our resin's not going to cure either. And that is, the colorant is like putting on clothes on your molecules, right? You can still create friction through clothes. It's going to take longer to do that. But if you have a fur coat on, you're not going to get the friction that you want. So you can't put too much colorant in your resin, or you won't get the friction and heat you need to cure it. So if your project's not curing, or you let it sit for a long time and it still hasn't cured, one of two things. One, you didn't mix it completely and incorporate both A and B together. or you have too much colorant in and you can't get the friction through for a coat. So that's a good way to remember it. Um, anyway, y'all, we've got them poured. Process for this: white on this one we poured first. First we had clear in our mold. Then we poured the white. Then we poured the teal. And then I use a clear push to push the colors out together and then let them come back naturally. Same thing here. We use the teal first, then the white, and then a clear push. And you can see these beautiful effects that we're getting that probably aren't going to be like a Larimar stone, but it's still going to have a beautiful effect. And with this one, we just randomly poured what was left. We did not have a clear coat on the bottom. We're going to let resin do its own little thing and see what happens from there. But y'all, that's the simple process for a Larimar stone, and the same technique for a puddle pour. The only difference is you use mica for your puddle and dragon scale, and you use transparent for Larimar. Anyway, y'all, I hope that helped. That's all we have for this one, unless y'all have questions. Do y'all have questions about anything else that I can help you answer before we go? Well, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And if you have any questions, put them in comments because I answer all the comments. I respond. So if there's something that's not related to what we did today, you still have a question, put it down there anyway. I'm very happy to help and answer any questions that I can. Remember, go do all the YouTube things. Give us a like, comment, share, hit that hype button if there is one. It really helps others find our channel so they can get the answers that they have been looking for. But y'all, that's all I have for this one. Until next time, happy arting. Ta ta for now.